Hello and welcome to the Happy Little Futures podcast. As always, we're going to take a deep breath in and release. And let's get going. So this week is Mental Health Awareness Week. And I felt that it would be fitting really to just talk about mental health and what it means to me now to have found ways to manage my mental health. So first of all, managing my mental health doesn't mean that I don't have good days and bad days. It doesn't mean that I'm not very anxious some days, like I was earlier in the week this week. And it doesn't mean that I'm not always bouncing around happy as Larry and going on with my day. It's completely normal to have good days and bad days. And what I have found is that through meditation and mindfulness, I am more aware of my good days and my bad days. And by being more aware of when I'm having a good day, when I'm having a bad day, what's triggering me and how I'm feeling both in my body, how I breathe, everything, it's empowered me. It's empowered me to be able to make changes. A prime example is that I've been getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning to try and get some posts sorted for social media, get on top of admin and stuff like that every day. And I've been doing that for over a month now, which is great. And I really actually quite savour that time when it's just me having that sort of like gentle ease into the day and pottering through some work stuff and meditating before I do so as well. However, we are having a really busy time of it at the moment. It's nothing in particular. There's just lots and lots of little things piled on top of each other. Nothing major really, just a lot of little things here and there. And it's building up to basically sort of fill my head constantly with the, oh, but I need to do this, oh, but I need to do that, the flitties, from one thing to another. And I'm finding that quite difficult. And yesterday, so middle of Mental Health Awareness Week, yesterday I woke up, I've had a migraine for over a week, and I came downstairs, boiled the kettle for my cup of coffee, went to the loo, and then when I went to sit down, I looked at the sofa and I said out loud to the sofa, this isn't going to benefit you right now. You need to rest. And I went back to bed. And this is what mindfulness and meditation have done. Quite often, when we're in a bad place or a place of uncertainty or where we're struggling with making decisions or overloading ourselves, quite often people say to us, what would you say to a friend right now? If your friend was struggling, what would you say to them? And I've always found it very difficult to put myself in those shoes because you live your experiences in so much more of a raw way, even when you're trying to put yourself into an external person's thoughts. However, the other week I was speaking to a friend and I was sort of helping her through a rough patch. And as I was helping her through that rough patch, another friend popped up on WhatsApp and replied to something I'd messaged the day before, I think. Basically giving me the exact same advice as I was giving my other friend at the time. And it really grounded me. It really made me go, oh, okay, now I see it. Now I understand. And it doesn't make it any easier necessarily to have that understanding, even more so of trying to give a friend advice. What advice would you give that friend? But what it has done is it's grounded me in a place where I know that I have been given advice that I give. I know that it's okay to have those moments of self-compassion and kindness and treat myself like a friend. So yesterday morning, I stood there and I said to the sofa, like I said, you don't need to do this right now. You need to rest. You need to get rid of this migraine. You need to go and take it easy because you're going to burn out. And I did. And even now, I'm having moments where I'm like, oh, I should have posted on social media. It's Mental Health Awareness Week. Like, that's when people need me. And it's like, no, people need me all year round. People need me every single day. They may not realise it right now, but they do. And my kids need me every single day. And I need me every single day. And whilst, yes, it's Mental Health Awareness Week, and I've got videos and posts sitting there waiting to be posted. Right now, actually, it's more important that I take care of my mental health and myself so that I can be present for those that are around me and those that do need my support. And all day I kept going, I need to put up a post. I should do this. I should do that. And I didn't. I was so exhausted anyway from over a week's worth of migraine and all the other little things that have been building up, causing anxiety, that physically and mentally I couldn't bring myself to do it. And I think that's okay. And it feels odd telling you guys that this is a normal thing, because there's part of me that's like, oh, will they judge me for being human? It's like, actually, I'm hoping that you'll appreciate that I am still human, that I'm not superhuman going through every single day without dealing with anxiety, without dealing with my own challenges. I've told you before that I've got fibromyalgia, and at the moment, sort of the pain and all of that is a lot worse. And that's because I'm doing too much, because I'm pushing myself too hard. And there's a lot of external pressures, meaning that I do need to do that. However, focusing my attention on those little things rather than that bigger picture, the little things that will make the difference, is what is ultimately going to help me through. So, for me, like I said, mental health is something that's always there. It's always there. We always have good and bad days. No matter who you are, you have good days and bad days. I don't know of anyone that doesn't struggle with stress or anything like that. Even if it's just a fleeting moment of it. And what I think is important is that we become aware of when we are having a good and a bad day. We become aware of how it feels in our mind and how it feels in our body. And by doing that, we empower ourselves to move on and change the things that the way in which our body is reacting to that stress and that anxiety or depression, whatever we are going through in that moment. And we can do all of this through such simple activities each day, simple moments, be it literally a second of bringing ourselves to our attention to a part of our body where maybe we get tense when we're stressed or anxious, bringing our attention to our breath to help calm ourselves and just reconnect with our bodies, and all sorts of other things. And yes, it's hard, and yes, it can sound a bit crazy when you first start doing it or first hear about doing that and hear that it's going to make such a big impact, because it doesn't seem like a logical thing to make such a big impact. However, it's a really grounding experience, and it's a really important life skill, I feel, to have. Something as simple as just bringing your attention to your jaw and relaxing your jaw and just noticing whether actually, yes, you are stressed and you're clenching. All those little things can make such a difference. So we're going to do a quick breathing exercise now. The breath, I think, is a really important thing to try to connect to. I think it's a really difficult thing to connect to. However, there are so many different ways to connect to your breath that I think once you've found the one that works for you, you can really start to change your life in ways that you might not have thought were possible. So we're going to just gently close your eyes if it's safe to do so, or soften your gaze, or even if you're walking, just bring your attention to your breath. I want you to notice if you can feel it anywhere. You may not initially, but try and pay attention in particular to the tip of your nose, the back of your throat, maybe the rise and fall of your stomach or your chest. And just notice where of all those places you feel your breath most strongly. If you can't, don't panic. Just be kind to yourself in that moment. And let go of any thoughts or stresses that may come to you, whether about connecting with your breath or something else in your day. And now we're going to take a deep breath in to our stomachs, and we're going to release. I'm going to count in for 4, and we're going to count out for 6. If you're currently walking, just count your footsteps as you breathe in. Breathe in for 4 footsteps and breathe out for 6 footsteps. So, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just gently do this another couple of times in your own time. Now gently just allow your breath to settle back to its natural rhythm. Noticing once more that place within your body where you feel it most. And gently just begin to wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, connecting with your body. And if your eyes are closed or your gaze is softened, when you're ready, and only when you're ready, gently just bring yourself back to this moment now. breathing in for 4 and out for 6 is such a simple exercise. It's one of the first things I do every single morning when I wake up. I'll come downstairs and I'll just connect with my breath. Quite often, it's just one single breath, which is, let's face it, 10 seconds if you're breathing in for 4 and out for 6. And yet it's a really grounding and powerful way to start the day. It's a really grounding and powerful way to connect with yourself throughout the day. And I've found that the more that I do this, the more readily I've been able to draw upon it in times of crisis. Crisis feels like quite a strong word, but times of heightened anxiety and stress. And I think that quite often meditation can be considered to be a bit woohoo or sort of maybe religious or very spiritual. And actually, it doesn't have to be. It might be that over time what you get from that is something a little bit more spiritual. However, it isn't always. It is something as simple as just connecting with yourself and with your body in a moment and practicing it. Practicing connecting with the present moment. Reconnecting with yourself. In a world where we're dominated by technology, it's so easy to lose sight of who you are, to lose sight of what is important to you, what your key values are, through life, through your job, through your family, what is actually important to you. And I do feel that just connecting to yourself in simple ways throughout your day that aren't invasive, don't require making time, and no one even knows about, I think that they can be some of the most powerful forms of meditation and mindfulness that you can use, that help you to find you in any given moment. And it's that I think it's important kids learn from a young age as well, is that you can be you. We're always talking about how it's okay to be different, it's okay to be an individual, it's okay to be yourself. But what does that actually mean? With so many things on social media nowadays and YouTube and all sorts, TikTok or whatever, knowing who you are can be very difficult because there are so many different versions of you that you can be. There are so many different types of you that are around, and I think it's natural for children to want to fit in to those. So teaching them to connect to themselves and who they are at their core, what is important to them at their core, I think is very important. And it will give them life skills to be able to do that for years and years to come, so that they can continue to feel secure and feel connected to themselves through this ever-changing, invisible world that technology brings. So I'm going to stop there because I feel like I'm starting to go off on a bit of a ramble. And I'm going to leave you with one final deep breath so that you can be on your way and connected once more to yourself. So we're going to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I will see you soon.